sorting out some pastry.
I thought you were making rolls.
Okay. I'm making a really lovely little tart. It's apricot frangipane tart with my yoghurt pastry. So I'm not going to show you how to do the pastry because I've already done it once. And were you listening last time, John? Can you remember it?
No, but I can look it up.
Yeah, that's going to say look it up. So on all the other little videos, there is one for chicken pasties. So that pastry is a sour cream pastry, and how you make it is on that video. But it's really simple. Sour cream, sorry, yogurt. Well, it used to be called sour cream pastry, but I've discovered doing it with yogurt is much nicer actually. So I've made it with yogurt, and that was because I didn't have any sour cream when I last made it. Anyway, it's rolled out now into a little circle, which I'm going to do some magic with today, and it's going to be lovely. I had some apricots the other day from something I did, which I can't remember.
Coronation chicken.
Oh yeah, coronation chicken, that's right. So they're left over from that, this tinned apricots. So I'm going to use those today. You can do any different fruit on this particular tart. Apples are great, plums are fantastic with it. Peaches are lovely. If you get big half peaches, they look stunning on top. But I'm going to use these halves of apricot here, which will just be as lovely. So I've rolled the pastry out into a circle, and I'm just going to put this, as you can see with this pastry, it's so pliable. It's one of the most amazing pastries because it's got a quite high fat content in it. It is like plasticine, really. So you can be a little bit more flippant with it than you would with, say, a short crust pastry. So that's just going in there at the moment. And in here I've got some softened butter and some sugar because I'm going to make a frangipane. And the frangipane is basically like a cake mixture, but instead of using flour, you use almonds. That's the idea behind it. So I'm going to beat in an egg, half my ground almonds, which I've measured out, and then another egg, and then the rest of the almonds. So there's 50 grams each of butter and sugar in there, 2 eggs and 110 grams of almonds. Okay, so it's double the almonds to the butter and the sugar, basically. Just get a little bit of that off with that. Spread it around, otherwise I won't be able to get the egg into it. There we go. So just the old morning again, isn't it?
Yeah, very
rainy out there. Not so pleasant, but it's going to be nice tomorrow. And then the weekend, it'll be all sunny again, so it's all going to be lovely. So beat that together. Half of the ground almonds go in. Makes it slightly easier to get the eggs in when you've got the almonds in. Give it a really good beat. Even though I've got a bad arm. Have I mentioned my bad arm? Once, twice? What? It's a sarcastic face. Yeah. I can see.
shoulder, arm, elbow, knee.
Knee. My knee's been giving me real problems, hasn't it? Both back knee. I know someone that's not getting any tart today, sir. You're still eating the chocolate pudding, aren't you, from the other day? Oh my goodness. Right, so the macaroni cheese, can I just say from yesterday, we had it a bit last night. There is still at least 1,000 portions. No exaggeration.
And that's after the rugby team came.
And that's after the rugby team came round. So we're going to have to freeze it into little portions, John. We're never going to get through it. Rest of that goes in. Then a little bit of almond extract. Oh, lovely stuff. Love the smell of that. A bit of almond extract goes in. If you don't like almond extract, don't put it in. If you don't have that and you happen to have a bit of rum hanging around, put a bit of rum in. Or some of the almond Diorisimo. Is it Diorisimo? Diorisimo. Anyway, that one. Put some of that in as well. Okay, so your frangipane is basically ready. So that's ready to go. On the bottom of this, I'm going to spread some apricot jam. I haven't made it. I bought it from a place called Sainsbury's. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. And it's the taste, the difference. So it's a good, hopefully a good apricot jam. So we're going to put some on the base here to put the frangipane on top. And then I'm going to use a little bit of this, heated up later on, just to glaze the top, to make it all nice and shiny and pretty. Which is something, when I was training again at the Cordon Bleu, we always had apricot jam. Most of the puddings had apricots in because they were cheap, and apricot jam was used an awful lot in various recipes. So as you know, I used some in the coronation chicken the other day. So just spread this in the middle, because we're only going to put the frangipane and the fruit in the middle, and then you're going to see what I'm going to do with the outside of the pastry in a minute. What's so great about this tart is that you don't have to line a flan tin. And if you can make life a bit easier for yourself, and it's something which is fairly foolproof to make and very easy to make, but it looks stunning and it looks a lot more complicated than it actually is to make it. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what all things should be, not difficult. The only reason that chefs get, you know, let's make it very difficult so they look better. And frankly, I don't care, you know, I don't mind. I look a silly Billy. I just want people to be able to cook nice, easy stuff that, you know, is hassle-free, really. Life's too short to be messing around, isn't it, with things? You just want to be able to eat some really good food. All right, next, frangipane. That goes on. Just get the scraper. That goes on top of the jam. Now I do this at Christmas actually with mincemeat at the bottom underneath frangipane, which works really, really well. That recipe is actually in my book and in the Christmas chapter, so you can always make that if you have the book, which are very easy to get hold of now, as we know, because they're out of print. So they're very cheap on Amazon, second-hand ones. Last time I looked, there was one about £2, I think. So it's worth just picking one up if you can, because it's a fabulous book. Lots of very silly stories in there as well, involving gin and wine and food, obviously. Right, frangipane on there. Now these little halves of apricots, we'll just put them on top, going all the way round. Yeah. Have you had this before, John?
No.
Okay.
No, I was just thinking that when you said it's in my book under the Christmas. So,
I think you must have
no.
had it. No, okay.
No.
No, all right. So when I come to glaze this tart, I'm going to use some of the apricot jam, but I'm going to use a little bit of this juice, so I'm not going to throw it away, and that juice will just let down and make it a slightly runnier glaze, so it's easier to spread over the top. Right, now that's done, take the pastry, this is it, you take the pastry and you just gather it up around the tart, okay, like that, as rustic as you can do. It really isn't a tidy tart. And this will just hold all of the frangipane within the tart, okay? Now I'm going to give this a little bit of a chill for about 10 minutes, sprinkle a little bit of demerara sugar over and whack it in the oven at
180.
180 for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then you can come back and see it, and then we'll glaze it. Doesn't that look great? 40 minutes, pretty much on the nose, 40 minutes in the oven to get it this lovely golden brown and all the frangipane set, and then the pastry underneath cooked. What's great about the yoghurt pastry as well is it's not greasy, even though you've got some butter in there and you've got the yoghurt. If I'd used the sour cream like I did before, there'd be a lot more fat coming off it, but actually it's a lot lighter. And also what's great about the sour cream pastry, I've said before, it's like flaky pastry. When you eat it, it's beautifully light, really delicious. So I've got a little bit here of the apricot jam. Do you remember I mentioned it? So I'm just going to brush that over the top, so it gives it a really lovely glaze. And this is what makes it look very professional, like all the beautiful patisserie that you see in the shops, certainly in France. They've all got, a lot of them have got this apricot glaze. If your fruit, this is a little tip, if your fruit is orange or green or yellow, pineapple, banana, apricot, peach, you always use an apricot glaze. If your fruit is dark, cherries, strawberries, raspberries, you use a red currant glaze, okay? Because otherwise it look very odd. And also, if you have pastry but with dark fruit, you only actually do the fruit, you don't do the pastry. So I wouldn't give this a red currant glaze because it would look a bit odd. I would just do the fruit. So those are sort of just little tips that I many years ago. You know what? I'm also not happy today, John. I mean, I'm very happy, but I'm not happy because I can't get hold of any Galaxy in the supermarket. No Galaxy. Everyone is eating the Galaxy. There is no Galaxy left for me. I've had to go for a little bit of salted caramel, which I'm not happy about because I don't like salted caramel. So I've got no Galaxy. At a push, I'd go for a Malteser, but there's no Maltesers left. There's Malteser biscuits. No Galaxy at all. Not even a Ripple. Not even a Galaxy Ripple. The only way I'm going to be able to have any Galaxy chocolate is to buy a thing of Celebrations and then eat all the Galaxy ones out of that. It's not fair. I really wanted a little bit of Galaxy. It's all gone. You can't get hold of it. Level money. That and flour. Anyway, we got a nice pudding. I love Galaxy got an apricot pudding. And here it is. The final thing. It is really pretty. Very, very lovely. Do you want me to cut it or do we just leave it like this? Because it's just so pretty. It freezes brilliantly, by the way, as well. So if you make this, you can freeze it cooked. I wouldn't freeze it uncooked because of the apricot. So you could freeze the pastry. The sour cream pastry is brilliant. As it's so versatile. Anyway, I'm going to go now because John's going, wind up, you're talking to me.
Are you rabbiting?
Anyway, it's lovely. Make it so easy.